Oh my, here come the holidays, ready or not. Yes, we're already in October. Yes, stores have been selling goods since August. I think I've been seeing some holiday items. So, how do we not go broke this holiday season with all of the tempting things that are out there? Well, I'm going to give you a few tips of how to maintain your sanity, at least monetarily, during the holiday season. So interestingly, doing a little bit of research for this, the average American spends anywhere between 800 or 1500 on holiday gifts, with the median being about $1,000. So I don't know. I kind of thought that was interesting, regardless if that number seems to be low or high compared to what you would expect. Here are a few tips on how to manage that holiday spending. I'm going to tell you how to be a holiday star in 4 easy steps: story, target, achieve, and resources. So let's get started. Story. What story do you tell yourself about the holidays? And this is digging in a little deep right here from the start, but I know you can handle it. What story are you expecting? Do you love the holidays? Do you hate the holidays? What do you feel? We all have some expectations of what goes on. And it's a good idea, especially right now where we're pretty early in the holiday season, to take a look and address that internally. You don't have to go out and tell everybody, but perhaps take some time to think about this, getting ready for the holidays. This on the screen, the money story exercise, was adapted from Barbara Stanny's Digging Down to the Roots exercise, which is in her book, Overcoming Under-Earning. Great book, by the way, if you're not familiar with it. She has several questions for digging down into your money story, and I've adapted them to think about the holidays, just 10 questions. If you like to journal, perhaps you take a moment to set some time aside and think about these and journal about them. What baggage you might be carrying with the holidays, and are there attitudes or expectations that maybe don't suit you anymore? I think about this as like taking out the old holiday decorations, dusting them off, and looking at them and deciding if they still fit in your life and your traditions. This can provide a foundation for some ahas. Maybe you find joy in some things still, maybe some no longer fit. So do the same with your expectations and your stories for the holidays. Tip number 2 is target. Now, this is more nuts and boltsy, right? This is where the dollars and the money come in. This is where your holiday budget will help to keep you out of trouble and possibly motivate you to get creative and save some money where you can. Because as the saying goes, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. I like to create an Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to share that with you now. If you cringe at the word spreadsheet, maybe keep a list. It doesn't have to be in Excel. My mom likes to keep a notebook in her purse. So here are the items that you want to track so that you can not go broke during the holidays. The first one I have here is who, the person, the family, the charity. Sometimes just doing this can be surprising and revealing. Very helpful if you've never done it to realize how many people are on your list and how many gifts you're buying in the first place. Now, personally, I like to then write down in the second column the item. I'm such a nerd. I keep a spreadsheet from year to year to year, and I have a history. This really helps me to remember what I gave last year so I don't embarrass myself by giving the same thing. You know, you're out there and you say, oh, this would be perfect for my Aunt Connie. And you gave it to her already last year. So I keep a sheet so that I don't do that. It also is an idea sheet for me. So if I think about, oh, wow, my mom would really like some candles, I'll jot that down. And then when I'm out shopping, I can be looking for the candles instead of just going, I don't know, I need to get mom something. So helpful little tip there. The next column I have is the budget. So I like to reverse engineer this. And you'll see that in this example, I actually have subcategories. Mom and dad are one category. Then there's the brother, sister, niece, nephew, that family category. Friends is a category. Then there are people that I see that maybe not every day, but that I might want to give a gratitude for. So various people like that, neighbors, and then don't forget things like office parties or maybe a club party or something like that. You want to keep track of that as well. And then the other things like decorations, stationery, cards, gift wrapping, postage. So I love to send out Christmas cards, and I need to make sure that I'm not going overboard with that, especially as postage goes up. So I just like to track that and see where all my spending is going. Nerd alert, but I love doing that. So then I reverse engineer this, that grand total at the bottom. Let's say I'm going with that average that I quoted here in the beginning. Let's say it's $1,000 that I would like to spend at the holidays. Then I can divvy it up by these subcategories and then think about how much per person. Here's where the creativity can come in. Maybe by the time you do that, you're like, wow, I really wanted to get mom something that was more extravagant or more expensive. Well, let's see. If I'm going to stay in my budget, what else can I do? So it can help you to kind of get a handle on what you're doing rather than just going out and buying things and then having that January hangover of the holiday spending. Tracking, I think, is very important. And that last column is actual. So you know how to budget for next time. So you could also think about, well, if I overspend in one area, let's say I found something really cool for the parents that's a little bit more than the budget. Well, maybe I can get creative on that club party and make something instead of going out and buying it. So it really helps you to see all the categories in one place, at least is how I like to do it. All of this, you can get lost in the numbers. But let's go to the next letter. A is for achieve. Come back to what you're actually trying to accomplish here. It doesn't have to be a giant gift fest. What do you actually want the recipient to feel or experience? Getting clear on why you're doing this is always helpful. Do you want to delight a friend with a surprise, or maybe introduce them to a new product that you love? Do you want to support a local business, perhaps by making some purchases locally? Do you want to express gratitude or appreciation? Or, hey, let's be realistic. Are you fulfilling an obligation to somebody that you need to get a present because they're going to get you one or whatever? Get clear on why you are doing the gifting in the first place. And that can help to direct your decisions on what you do and how you do it. Which gets us to our last letter, resources. Okay, guys, not everything has to be go out and buy a purchase. What about making something that's heartfelt? Someone once said that love equals time. And I know during the holidays that it's very tricky to carve out time, but it's also so fulfilling. Have you ever sat down and maybe made cookies with a child? That's some of the best memories ever. Doesn't cost that much, just a little bit of time and care. Another example is memorable gifts can cost very little or nothing. My mom once painted rocks for all of us. I have a little cow rock that it didn't cost like anything, but it's one of my favorite things, and it makes me laugh every time I see it because my mom painted me a cow. Little things like that. A friend of ours made us a tin of homemade cookies once, and I'll never forget that. As a child, I liked to write poetry. So I would write parodies. And The Night Before Christmas one year was a huge hit. So think about what you do, what you love to do, and maybe making that a gift rather than going out and buying something. It does involve some planning. It doesn't work so well last minute, but you can do it. I have faith in you. And speaking of planning, here is a bonus pro tip. Start saving money into a holiday account. Pay it like a bill each month throughout the year. Now, it's a little bit late now to get that set up, but it's something you could do in the future. Set up in your monthly budget to put a couple of bucks into the holiday account. Then you can have that 1,000 or whatever it is saved up by the time you go shopping, and you can shop guilt-free without the holiday hangover. So pro tip there, how much you can do to help not go broke this holiday season. So to recap, examine your story. What story are you telling yourself about the holidays? Have a target, have a budget, or at least be aware. Have some tracking system where you realize what you're spending, where you're spending. Think about what you want to achieve. Why are you gifting in the first place? And make it really meaningful for both you and the recipient. And finally, examine your resources. It doesn't necessarily have to be something you go out and buy. Maybe you have something at home, something you can do, something you can create for the recipients. I'd like to end with a quote that I read and I really loved. It's, "The holiday season is a perfect time to reflect on our blessings and seek out ways to make life better for those around us." Whether that means big gifting or just giving someone a hug, I hope you have a wonderful holiday season.